Well, hello there, humans, if earthlies, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, who you're lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Isn't it great to be back in the saddle again, rolling light and large. This is the T54 lightweight. I'm going to be doing a few lightweight games today, as well as a bit of an RU251 game. Gee, look at the bouncy McBouncers going on there. This is a great, cracking, great tank. I love it to bits. And although I've had some just a few dissenters carry on lately about how I'm doing the same tanks all the time. I've actually done a lot of new reviews over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and actually included a lot of lower tier tanks over the past 2 or 3 weeks. However, at some point, I like to enjoy myself, and that means I'm going to drive some tanks that I really find to be quite user-friendly. This one I consider to be very user-friendly. Oh, look at that snapshot and bounce. That's a trademark of the 54 lightweight. Gee, it's a crackerjack little number. And look at this one. Oh, snappy McShotterson. How do you like them apples? Why do I like this tank so much? Well, bugger me, what's not to like about it? It goes 70 kilometers an hour. Now, the first thing is, if you're going to do something wrong, do it at top speed. And no one does it wronger, more topper speeder than the T54 lightweight. My old English teacher would have loved that sentence. It's got excellent speed and mobility. Just absolutely brilliant. And it's got a really good armor profile for a tank that has this kind of speed, this kind of mobility, not to mention one of the best camo profiles that you'll be able to drive in the game. Now, before we go any further, this is actually all with level 1 equipment, this video, on both tanks. I absolutely screwed up my spare parts allocations and ended up with a couple of really silly, I thought I could just do them all, but I couldn't. So there you go. We've all done that. Well, plenty of us have. That's why you hate patch 3.8. Or a lot of you do. I'm not going to go any further into that vein. It's really fun to drive light tanks. This is the RU251. Now, this is not one of my favourites. It's a much tougher drive, but I do like to drive it sometimes because it's just that. It's a much tougher drive. And you're going to see me in this game be a lot more passive on the same map. I've driven halfway across the map, got here very, very early, spotted up a bunch of tanks, and now I'm just hanging out with Wang out, doing my level best to nut them whenever possible, and when that's not possible, to just keep them spotted for my team. And that's a great way to drive a light tank. In fact, it's a way to drive a light tank that a lot of people don't really endeavour to do. Light tanks have a huge advantage on the competition, namely that their camouflage is so good while moving. It never takes a dip. Now I'm going to take a shot, and then I'm going to play the light bulb game. This is what you do in a light tank. You take your shot, play the light bulb game, go away until the camo resets, and then you can come out quite happily, or if they move back, because you are in a tank that has incredible camouflage properties, which is great. Really, really good fun. The lightweight and the RU251 can get away with murder because they go like the clappers. They are so quick. It's incredible to drive around these things once you get a head of steam up. And it's one of the reasons why they also get such a bad name. Much like the T6 Dracula that goes hell for leather all over the place and quite often just succumbs to the influence of top-end speed, what they just call speed sickness, and will be... He found 30 seconds into the match in the middle of the opposition spawn. You can see I'm playing this as a far more delicate flower. I am actually waiting, spotting, hitting them on the chin when they're not watching and not ready for it, being overall a complete and utter pest. And something that is nothing worse when you are facing a good light tank driver who is giving you nothing, and every once in a while just reach out and give you a tap on the shoulder with a little AP round to the chin and say, hey, still here, don't forget about me, still here. It is just a curse upon the nation. The only problem with that is, and this is a surprising one, I actually get this guy, and I'm not spotted. I really thought I'd be spotted there. Quite possible that his crew skills are very, very low on the Richter scale, and as such, his view range is quite a bit further down, and then the camo net helped me with that. But definitely not spotted, and again, not spotted there. So we move onwards and upwards. Could be 2 bushes there, which is a big camo plus, and we go hell for leather. However, it wouldn't be fair to just show you all this lovely good stuff. If you play like this in a tank that is this fragile, especially when you get up tiered into tier 9 stuff, you can get absolutely punished. And there's no point dwelling on it and getting upset about it, because realistically, you put yourself in harm's way in a map like this, which is very, very close and tight. then you deserve everything you get. Just because someone YOLOs at you doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad play on their part. And you're going to see in a second where I've moved up here and I'm playing it very much like a standard light tank. But I'm not going to get any support, and when the nasties come rolling over the top of the hill, well, they're going to roll right over the top of the hill into my butt. You can see both the mediums that have come up behind me have moved perplexingly straight down towards the heavy route, and then there's going to be a Yag Tiger that is going to absolutely beast across this hill, and that is a horrible, horrible thing to see, because this is just the most absolutely monstrous DPM machine. I do get past him, but I can't get up. He manages to jam me on the back there, and that's it. I'm done. I am absolutely done. I've got no support. I've left myself out in the flank. The rest of the team's done some inexplicable stuff, but that doesn't change the fact that I am gone and deceased. I want to have a go, but then I think, you know what? It's all me. Switch to the other side of the coin. If you're going to be aggressive, look at this for an entry. This is something that the Czechoslovakian judge would have scored a 10. Watch this sliding turn into brawl, a la Nadia Comaneci. Love it. Dropping the adrenaline and then going hog wild on the STA. This is why I love driving tanks like this. I'm trying to side hug. I'm going to use every trick in the book. I'm going to get up on the ground, up on the high ground, and then pull around, screw with his gun depression, stuff him up on his reverse, really take advantage of his mobility lack, and get one back into the front of his tracks, push back around him. I am in licorice all sorts because there are now 2 other tanks coming down here to help this STA-01. But we're going to flog them in this game. We do win this one quite convincingly because 3 of their tanks are down the bottom here versus one little old Bushka Reno. And how much fun was that? And that's really why you drive this tank. And I over angle here. I think I'm safe with an angle up on that, but he gets me in the side and then I angle up again and I get done. And I nearly pull out of this one. I actually start reversing around here and get to the other side of it and just get clipped by the Panther. Some other fun stuff is if you actually pay attention to the team makeup, you can see they've got 1 light tank on the red team here, and I've pushed really, really aggressively because I'm happy to engage him. I've got another medium with me, and if he doesn't turn up, then I know he's gone to the dark side of the force over here. I get to come around the back and get a free HE shot into a Borsig, spot both him and the Waffle Tractor up, and we go on to win that one pretty bloody easily as well. Because light tanks are fantastic mobility-wise, and the better you get at the game, the more capable you are at spotting weaknesses, and the more creative you can be. It's like being an artist and painting with just a finer brush rather than just using the boring old house paint brush. See, this 44 is going to come out. Their 44 is going to hit our 44. He's not going to be watching for me. I'm going to get one into him. I'm going to reverse. There's a T-54 coming around the corner. I'm going to look for another shot of that 44. He's not there. There's a 54. Why play that game? I'm going to use the wonderful mobility of the 54 lightweight and scamper. Absolutely scamper around this corner. Watch this. This is just gorgeous, this tank. Really high up so that when I slide down, I don't break a track. And then we're going to bust on over here. We're going to put ourselves in a really good spot. I've noticed both their TDs are unspotted at the moment. So they're probably going to be around this area here. There's the Borsig. Where's the Waffle? There's the Waffle. So watch this one. We were prepared to clean the track straight away as we go through it. Completely covered by the good stuff. Back through the rocks. Up towards the top end again where the T-54 is. Again, we're going to go into the rock cover so the Borsig and the Waffle Tractor can't hit us, and we're just going to help this T-54 on his way back to the garage. How good is it to drive a light tank when you get to go absolutely hog wild? Remember before I was talking about speed sickness? Guess who just got afflicted? I felt so amazing, so powerful, so brilliant after doing that I could not resist the idea of just cruising along here and smashing the boom sig, going up on the hill, absolutely cleansing. And where's the Waffle Tractor, Bushka? There's the Waffle Tractor! But you've got to expect that on the big jobs. I mean, I knew that I was going to be in strife there, but I just had so much fun doing that. I wanted to do it all over again, and I wanted to do it immediately. And then I reset camo, and we go back and play the old, I've got better camo than you, and that counts for everything game. And that's exactly what we do, and we do this pretty comfortably again. Go to AP because we don't quite have the penetration on the front of that Waffle Tractor. Track him and nut him, and yeah, the rest is history. So I'm going to show you 2 games now. I'm going to show you one in the 54 lightweight and then one in the RU251. Neither is particularly amazing, and it's not why I'm showing you them. It's because they're actually kind of played properly. Now, this was Torch. I just re-downloaded the game, and I had forgotten to turn off grass in sniper mode. So I kept getting grass in sniper mode, then saying, oh, I'm going to turn this off, and then the next game, I'd remember I had grass in sniper mode again, and I'd forget to turn it off, and it was just torture. Anyway, onwards and upwards. All I was doing there was just trying to force some movement from the red team by going into the cap and actually spotting up a few tanks, seeing if I couldn't ruin their displacement. So the way they were deployed around the actual ground was all well and good, but if you put pressure on them from the cap, you can then bugger off, move around, see what else happens, and see what fish you catch, so to speak. Bit like just throwing out a bit of bait and seeing who turns up. And a T-32 turned up. And so now what I'm going to do is absolutely ruin this guy's day, because I'm going to use mobility and just a bit of common sense and count the numbers on the map. And I can see there's 3, 4, 5. There's 6. We're only missing 1 tank. We're going to have a shot at the T-32 there. Bounce 1 because we angled up correctly. And then we're going to leave him alone. We're going to go all the way around the other side. How is that ruining his day? Well, this is the joy of driving a light tank. If you think on your feet, you realise where's he going to go from there. He doesn't have a lot of choices. He has to go up to the top of the hill. I don't want to get involved. He's still watching for me. I'll move around here, see what I can find on this side of the map, and then if he goes up and puts himself in a bad position, I'll start putting shots into him from his own spawn area, which is just lovely, and I'll be able to do it while hiding myself behind this hill here, because behind, not the hill, behind the actual house here, because, hey, that's just how the game goes. So I'm going to now angle up so all that they can see is, well, nothing. No one on the left can hit me. They're absolutely screwed. This 32 has moved forward. I'm just checking to see if I can penetrate the back of his tank with HE. I can't, because T-32 has absolutely bugger all armor back there, but I've only got a very, very low, high explosive penetration roll, and that's all there is to it. He's absolutely ruined, and that's just been from putting a little bit of pressure on cap, watching to see what came up, counting the tanks, and then moving smartly to a position which I was sure would be undefended, and would give me an opportunity to just put free fire in on these guys over here. And then I can then move out here once he's taken care of and start worrying about everyone else. There's another kill, and we now get to run around here and have a crack at the Panther. That's really simple stuff. I'm now going to do a game in the RU-251. Now the 251 is a little bit different because it is actually so fragile. The 54 lightweight has legitimate strong medium armor. The RU-251 has legitimate no medium armor. It's a crackerjack tank in the right hands, but it's a much tougher drive, I find, than the lightweight. And you can see I'm not committing to anything until I know where they are. Pump that 251 with high explosive, because this has a high explosive plastic round, which is very, very good penetration numbers and does a little bit more damage on very soft targets. And then I'm not going out again until I know my camo is reset. And then I'm going to push down here on Z-Type 62. We try another high explosive plastic round, but it doesn't go through. We're just ducking and weaving here, making sure that the guys on the right hand side don't get any free shots. And now I'm going to use the mobility of this lovely little number to drive over the top of this hill, down and around, and put really nasty pressure on this IS-6. In fact, I go a little bit hog wild here and get in a bit of trouble with a 54 lightweight that's on my right, but my main aim here is just to make sure that the IS-6 doesn't get free angling against the guys coming in from spawn, and I can actually really pressure him up. He doesn't have a lot of choices. He's got tanks on the right, tanks on the left. He does have support from behind, so I'm getting a bit bored there. I'm going to roll up. I'm going to try and track him. He does a nice little wiggle there. And I bounce a shot. I've now got to get out of town because there's a 54 lightweight on my right, and there's just no more mucking around. I know the IS-6 is going to go down, so I'm driving between buildings, around buildings, through buildings, and you can see our 62 Dragon has pushed up heroically on that T6 Dracula. This is the fun stuff. Just setting sail for the enemy at absolute pell-mell pace. We're going to 60. We're climbing up from 60 to 66. Going to get up towards 70. We're going to no-scope this Drac once, drive straight past him, and then we're going to no-scope him twice. Bang. Straight down into the Yag Panther. Another tap. Boom. And we're just going to blow the lot and use the wrong kit too. It's like got it at the top. I don't know why it's at the top. It's in the wrong place. But there you go. And you can see there's a real mixture there between outright reckless aggression and very conservative play at the start. You really can start moving. Now, this guy's in Cats, who are a pretty good clan, so I'm going to go far left, load up a HE round, and try and get him on the back of his tank as he crests this hill. Let's see how we go. Yeah, managed to hit that one. Lovely. And then we're going to do one of the wonderful little RU251. So fast. Push down and just hug right past him. Brush him. Then I don't realise I've got the wrong bloody rounds loaded. These are heat rounds. Angling tanks with tracks. You don't want to be firing heat rounds. Should have switched to AP right there. And then I realise and switch back to AP. There we go. And we finish him off. So that's light tanks in a nutshell. If you're driving them at tier 8, both those tanks don't have full equipment loadouts, so don't go nuts. You can drive them perfectly capably and perfectly happily. It still makes absolutely no money, this thing. It's terrifyingly bad. As always, this is a patron-sponsored post. If you would consider sponsoring the channel, that would be gorgeous of you because, you know, the more sponsorship we get, the easier it is for me to actually keep things going. There's going to be some boats videos popping up in the next couple of days. Make sure you check those out. World of Warships is a really fun game if you are on a PC at all. And if not, I'll try and make the commentary as lighthearted and interesting as possible, so you probably have a good time. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Look after your families and stay safe on the battlefield.